Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Let's check out some DC anniversary issues. Today we'll start off with Detective Comics 1000 and we'll leave Detective Comics 1027 for the next video. Here I have the variant covers done by Adam Hughes, and I mean, just look at this. Absolutely gorgeous stuff. You can't go wrong with Adam Hughes. DC started doing these anniversary issues back in 2018 with Action Comics 1000 celebrating 80 years of Superman, and that issue ended up being the best-selling issue of 2018. They did it again with Batman in 2019 with Detective Comics 1000, again 80 Years of Batman, and again the best-selling issue of 2019. Well, that was all that DC actually needed to go all in on these, and we got Wonder Woman 750, Flash 750, Catwoman 80th anniversary, The Joker 80th anniversary, Robin 80th anniversary, Wonder Woman 80th anniversary, Green Lantern, Aquaman, which was insane, Green Arrow, which was even crazier, and finally we recently had Harley Quinn. So they started off Batman, Superman, of course, these two definitely deserved it. Wonder Woman 2, I guess, but man, 10 issues after these initial two, absolutely crazy. And as we can see here, they didn't even stop with the 80th anniversary. They just needed more excuses. Here we have Detective Comics 1027, I guess celebrating 1,000 issues since Batman's first appearance, but come on now. Still, can you really blame them? People were clearly buying them. I mean, here we are, and they really are nice issues, each one containing like 10 different stories with different creative teams. I already did a video for the Catwoman 80th anniversary. I do hope you'll check that out. I'll put a link to that video at the end of this one, and let's get started. So Detective Comics 1000 starts off with 1000 issues of action, Detective Comics, and this is my favorite part. It's so stupid because, hey guys, that was the prior one. You had one job. I'm sorry, I always found this so funny. But the actual issue starts off with a story by Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo, of course the team behind the New 52 Batman, and honestly it's nothing special. It's Batman's longest case, and it sees Batman going around the world trying to solve this unsolvable case, spending years and years on it. And what it does end up being, it's basically a test for Batman to join the Guild of Detection, a group, a sort of club with the best detectives in the world. And that's kind of it. I think the moral of the story is that this never ends. And here we see the final panel going. It's only the very beginning, and Batman is like, wow. Again, nothing really special, but the second story does pick up. Here we see Kevin Smith returning to Batman with art by Jim Lee, and this is basically an excuse for Jim Lee to draw all the Batman Rogues Gallery all over again, and it's just gorgeous. So here we see Bruce Wayne in disguise trying to buy the gun that killed his parents. But again, this is just an excuse for Jim Lee to draw all the Batman villains. He ultimately uses the gun, he melts it down, and the metal plate, he uses it as a protection, behind his bat symbol. It's really fun. It's a sort of idea that I guess hasn't really been touched upon. Kind of corny. I mean, it's Kevin Smith, but again, if this was what it took for Jim Lee to return to Batman, so be it. I have no problems. The next story is an absolute joy because we get Paul Dini telling us the tale of Newt Brody, the worst henchman in Gotham City. So this is basically Batman villains retelling how this guy here just foiled all of their plans whenever they'd hire him. And again, it was an absolute joy seeing Paul Dini return to Batman. He still got it. And if you enjoyed the Batman animated series, you'll definitely love this. I mean, just look at this. Here we see Poison Ivy hiring Newt Brody, and he ends up burning down her greenhouse. All her formulas, all her plans just gone. And again, this whole story was such a blast. Seeing how this guy just completely annihilates all of their plans. And of course, by the end, we see that Newt Brody is actually the members of the Bat family impersonating him. And again, just making absolute fools of the Batman villains. Again, Paul Dini still got it. This, I think, is one of my favorite stories of this entire issues. Absolutely, absolutely wonderful. Next up, Warren Ellis. Before he became persona non grata in the comics industry, with a very simple story. I mean, it's just Batman beating this group of mercenaries and doing as much damage as he can. Of course, by the end, we'll see that he is the most damaged of them all, and the story does have a nice ending. I do want to point out and give a shout out to Jordie Bellaire doing the colors here. Check out my review of Black Widow, my review of Catwoman. I'll always give a shout out to Jordie Bellaire. Absolutely love her work. Whenever she does something, just knocks it out of the park. This little story also has art by Becky Cloonan, which is weird, seeing her as an artist. She does a fine job, and honestly, I'd hoped she'd continued her work as an artist, because right now she's basically ruining Wonder Woman, and that's no fun. The next two stories are a true blast from the past. Here we see Return to Crime Alley by Denny O'Neil, and honestly, I was really looking forward to this one, but this wasn't it. Denny O'Neil, of course, trying to do some more social commentary, and we see Lindsay here, great callback character, basically lecturing Batman because he uses his time and money to beat up thugs instead of helping Gotham City financially, in other ways, and telling him how he's slowly becoming the monster that he thinks he fights. Again, Danny O'Neil trying to say something that's already been said. It's a weird argument, and I do feel he was a little bit late We have Denny O'Neil, so of course we have to have Neal Adams just look at this. Christopher Priest, writer, Neal Adams, artist, and Dave Stewart on colors. Quite a credits score here. And so I mentioned Denny O'Neil. Of course, we had to have Neal Adams, and you also have to have people just yelling for absolutely no discernible reason. But man, I absolutely love this. The story is nonsensical and kind of stupid. The art is nonsensical and stupid, but just look at this. Really, really fun. The fact that Batman goes, I had to have a talk with Ross, and just totals his limo here. And of course the Batmobile is intact. Again, kind of stupid, kind of silly, let's say, but unlike Denny O'Neil's weird and kind of boring story, this was at least fun, you know. So Neal Adams actually wins this one. This next one, however, is a total win. Michael Bendis writing Batman with Alex Maleev doing the art. And here we see an old Bruce Wayne visited by an old penguin, and the penguin here just wants to tell him that he'd known all this time. He'd known that Bruce Wayne was Batman, but he didn't tell anyone because the penguin watched Batman face to face. He'd looked into his eyes and he'd seen the edge of madness. And the penguin knew that if he killed Bruce Wayne, Batman would lose that small sense of humanity left in him, and he'd go berserk and he'd kill everyone, including him. So he definitely didn't want this, but the penguin knew, and that was his victory. And again, this was a nice story. The ending is kind of weird and not so great, but the rest of the story, really, really good stuff. And again, Alex Maleev's art. I mean, we get this panel of the penguin repeated like a few times, but I did enjoy it because this was the penguin retelling the story, and of course he'd be center stage, you know. I did like this small detail. Again, I won't hold this against it, and again, just look at this. Absolutely wonderful. Just as wonderful as the next story, here we have The Last Crime in Gotham, written by Geoff Johns with art by Kelly Jones, and here we see Batman with his family, and it's not like his bad family, no, this is his actual family. Damian, his son, here we have his daughter Echo. Catwoman here is his wife, and honestly, it's like the intro to the Jetsons. Kind of funny, but it really is. And it's a weird story. So the criminals of Gotham have either reformed like Bane and Duella Dent, or in this 12-person murder, they've all been wiped out. The Joker had died, and his son managed to poison the last remaining criminals in Gotham City, killing himself as well. So that's it. We see the Bat family talking to Gordon, Batman telling him to return to his family, to Barbara, and telling him it's time for family now, for all of us. And Batman shuts the bat signal down, and again you're reading this and you go, what is happening? Kelly Jones's art really helps with this feeling of surreal things going on. And in the final page here, we see this was just Bruce blowing up the candles for his birthday. This was his wish. This never happened, but maybe someday. Again, it was really cool, and arriving to this final page, I really like this, especially this final panel here. Now, the final three stories are done by more modern creative teams, let's say. So here we have James Tynion IV with a Robin story, when Bruce accepted Robin as his sidekick, and here we see Bruce arguing with Alfred if this would be the right choice. I feel like we've seen this before, but it was a nice little story. Next up we have Tom King, and oh boy, well, it's Tom King. I actually liked his Batman run for the first 55 issues. Like, of course, I do want Batman to end up with Catwoman, and seeing their relationship at the beginning, it was nice. I was going to excuse the botched wedding, but and I actually liked the story arc that followed the wedding. Those 5 issues with Mr. Freeze or something. But after that, Tom King went all Tom King, and the final, 30 issues of his run were just sad and pathetic and just so annoying. And this is exactly that. Just look at this. Just look how much talking it is. So the Bat family here gathered, called by Bruce, and they're waiting for him. And all of this is just them bickering, and he doesn't get it. He really doesn't. And again, it's just sad and so annoying. I mean, people complain about the bad cat stuff. This is all of that in a small story. It also feels like the most corporate story of this issue. I mean, this image alone has been used by DC in countless promo material. And I don't know, it felt lifeless, it felt annoying, and it was just Tom King doing what he's been doing for the past few years now, and again, it's sad and pathetic. Some cool drawings here by Michael Yanin, and this gorgeous double spread by Jason Fabok. And I mean, just look at this. Absolutely gorgeous. I really do hope we'll see more of Jason Fabok. I think he's working on the Three Jokers sequel now, because we haven't heard from him in like 2 years now, and it's like, come on man, it's time. Again, gorgeous piece here. And the final issue ties up the future of Detective Comics. Here we see the introduction of the new villain. This was a time when Peter J. Tomasi was doing Detective Comics, and again he introduces the new villain. We get to see Batman through his point of view, but again it's another excuse for the artist, in this case Doug Mahnke, to draw Batman's rogues gallery, and honestly I'm not complaining. I mean, these look absolutely great. Just look at this Mr. Freeze here. Batman fighting Ra's al Ghul and his daughter, Catwoman with Poison Ivy here. Again, awesome pages, and how can you say no to this? And finally, a new look towards the future of DC Detective Comics with issue 1001 here, and that's it. I hope you enjoyed my video on Detective Comics 1000. If you did, maybe leave a like, subscribe for more videos, including the next one on Detective Comics 1027. Check out my video on Catwoman, the 80th anniversary issue, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.